these next 3 episodes, we're going to be talking with Donna Baker about fear. Coming back to watch this second installment of Primetime Makeover, and again we are talking about overcoming and confronting fears with Donna Baker, minister, intercessor, friend, radio host, but she does a lot of teaching and inspiring to people in the area of overcoming their fears. Hi Donna, thank you for being here again.
I'm happy to be here again.
We are sitting here under the Warriors.
Yeah.
And we stopped at our last episode. We stopped with a discussion of the bully. So, in this episode, we're going to talk about confronting the bully. How do we confront the bully? Whether it is an intimidating person or situation on the outside of us, or if it is a bullying thought that we constantly deal with on the inside. So, Donna,
yes,
tell me how to confront my bullies.
Well, I'll say this. Even though you're afraid, even though you feel fearful and intimidated, you've just got to move forward and approach it. Oftentimes, you can just walk right through it like a vapor. It's not even for real. Other times, as you get closer to it, it diminishes in size, whether it's a thought or whether it's a person, a situation. But you gotta confront it. It's like how they say walking around the elephant in your living room. Whereas if you walk right through it, it was only a facade. It was only a mirage. Even if you're afraid, that's real courage.
That's real courage. And so what I'm hearing from you is some of the things that we fear, we've magnified them so in our mind that they're not even real.
Yes.
Or they're small.
Yes.
Well, tell us about the one that's real. Perhaps, because if somebody is intimidating us or we're feeling intimidated by a person in our circumstances, whether it's a relationship or a job or someplace, that's real. How do you approach that kind of bullying personality?
Well, you got to know your own worth, your own value. You got to know what you bring to the table. You can't have a lack or a loss or a stolen identity. Because when you don't know who you are, then the other person is able to tell you who you are. And often they don't know who you are. So that's why I say you've got to know who you are. And then you got to step forward and say, no, this is who I am. And I'm not going to tolerate any longer being pushed in a corner without coming out fighting.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, it is easier, but each step that you take, it enlarges the span of your getting to the place of freedom.
Okay, so we have to approach the bully. And I think about anybody, and I had a bully in high school. I finally wound up fighting. And what was interesting, I would not fight for myself, but when the bully started to pick on my sister, then I had no problems fighting. When we approach, I remember how intimidating that seemed. This was a new school and a new place and lots of new people, and they didn't know me. So it's much easier to just shrink back in a corner and not be seen. But when life doesn't allow you to shrink back in a corner, what do? How do you first approach the bully?
Well, you get to a point where you know that this is about to end. So you got to decide, is it going to end by me being completely overtaken by the bully, or am I going to exercise what's really stirring on the inside of me that's saying, if you actually let them know, if you just want to fight, we'll fight. If you just open up your mouth, oftentimes you don't even know what you'll say until you begin to speak.
I like the way you started that, and I am going to look at the camera and repeat what she said. First, you have to make up your mind that this is going to end. That is so important in an approach, because everything hinges on that. Okay, and then you're going to decide not to be backed in a corner. Does that same thing work with bullying thoughts that come from inside of us?
Well, with the bullying thoughts, of course, we've got to change our way of thinking. You've got to feed your mind something that's going to recalibrate your paradigm.
Ah, whoa. Recalibrate your paradigm. Tell me what, I love the rhythm of it. Tell me what
Yeah,
it
I love the
means.
rhythm of it too. That's what I thought I would say. But actually change your thoughts, As we entertain the thoughts and feed them, then they remain. But there are many thoughts that we could have. We could think and begin to see ourselves in a different position than being backed in the corner. We could think and begin to see ourselves expressing what we really have in our heart to say, but afraid of how it's going to be accepted because of as the rejection that we talked about. So courage, I keep saying true courage is, even though you're afraid, just stepping out there doing it. And each step that you take, it just gets broader and broader the way you're able to operate.
Whoa. Okay. So, we're confronting our bullying thoughts by replacing them with thoughts that inspire courage instead of fear.
Yes.
All right? And we're deciding that our mindset, in our minds, that this fearful thing is about to be over. This has got to be over.
I've had enough of it.
Enough. Okay. And so we really can't confront, even as children, we really can't confront a bully until we've had enough of being picked on. All right. The bloody nose can be nothing in compared to this constant fear.
Yes.
Okay.
Taking my lunch money, embarrassing me in front of the other ones. I've had enough of it.
Yep, just go on and whoop me if you're going to do that.
Yes.
But we're going to fight.
Yes.
Or, as a new friend said, we're going to go.
We're going to go. Yes.
Okay. And so we have to do that with our thoughts too. But after having taken those thoughts captive and replace them with thoughts that provoke a courageous response, how do we keep that? Because once we do it once, we could lose our momentum.
Yes.
How do we keep the momentum?
That's exactly, you used the perfect word. In order to keep the momentum, then you got to start looking at areas that you know you shrunk back from, and now you got to start surging toward those. Okay, and marking them off. I conquered that. Maybe I could conquer this. I'm going to go challenge myself to that. We have to challenge our own selves.
I like that. Because you can't make a bold move if you're not willing to challenge something outside or inside of you. Let me ask you this. Is it possible to just get rid of all of our fears at once?
Well, I don't know. I think it would probably kill us. I think like in the area of deliverance, little by little, one day at a time, one issue at a time. And because we keep living, we'll keep coming into contact with things that we'll find as fear. So I think that's what keeps us growing and evolving. But I don't think we could do it all at one time. Otherwise, we probably would just need to leave here because our purpose would be completely fulfilled.
Because we wouldn't be afraid of anything.
We wouldn't be afraid of anything. And then we might even lose reverential fear that we need to have.
You know what? I was watching the news reports of the person who went into a school system in Atlanta and confronted, and there was a woman there who confronted him and talked to him in such a way that he put his weapons down and the crisis was averted. Now, most of us would like to think we would do that, but the fear that is there, somebody is going to be facing a critical situation. Tell us, when fear comes and it's right in front of us, what things do we need to remember to be able to diffuse a situation or to confront a really big fear like that. What do you think happened?
Oh, that was just awesome of what I heard about. So, evidently, she's not a selfish person. That's one thing. A lot of times we're so self-consumed. It's all about us. We're not thinking of a broader picture, how our behavior affects someone else. So I think for her, as she began to move out, each step that she took, each word that she spoke, it started feeling like it was the right thing to do.
Join us next week for another episode of Prime Time